in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's had in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Come to us for your news and opinions. We got a voice. There is no choice. Wisdom voice in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. Your house is the perfect distraction. Puppets in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Slow.
What's up, guys? What's cracking? The Con Man, and I'm in your house. We here. We're ready to make a movie. I hope you guys are ready to make a movie. I hope you guys are with the shits, because we're with the shits. And we're ready to talk a little wrestling. That's right. You already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, you know we're here to give you that work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. And guys, that is exactly what we intend to do. And we have been doing that. And really, honestly, we appreciate y'all because the downloads have been crazy. And I'm not over exaggerating. This is not hyperbole. Our downloads are way up. And it's like my man Hype says, it's the work. It's this work that we doing. The reason that you guys are keeping us on the charts, keeping us a 5-star podcast, keeping on growing. I got my man Grummeister up in here and he's chilling at work and he's coming in and just wishing us a great show. We appreciate you, bro. Then of course, my boy, the voice, Josh Joseph, he's always with the shits. You guys need to really go back and listen to that Raw preview review show that they did, Window Lickers, from this past Monday. My guy Grun and Voice and even Hype pulled up, and it was a really, really good episode, like real good. I really enjoyed that episode. And then, man, we had a little smoke sesh, a little about 15-16 minute smoke sesh with my man Hypocrisy Jones. He talked about so much. Like, he talked about 10 years of the New Day. Can you guys believe it? 10 years of the New Day. That's crazy. And then he talked a little bit about what's going on with Triple H and Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley not renewing with the company. Whispers about Triple H possibly being a racist. I don't believe that. I just don't. I believe that there might be some difficulty in booking ethnic talent, and I don't think that is racist. I think that's just a problem with booking ethnic talent. It's a real conversation that needs to be had. And Hypocrisy, he broke that down and talked a little bit about that. And once again, just a really good episode, really good content that we are putting out. We're adding to the team. Recently Grunmeister's come on and he's been already, because the reason that I do this show, and we got a really great episode for you guys today, but I'm gonna brag on my team a little bit. I just got to, I have to, with Grunmeister, seeing his growth, in a very short amount of time. He's really becoming a dynamic part of the team. It's fun to see. Josh Joseph really steering that ship. He's a very consistent main host. He can really hold it down on his own. Hypocrisy's been known to do that too, but he's really jumped in and really has flourished in the producer role. And it's just been great to see, man. The growth's been great to see. Seeing Paragon grow as a podcaster. Everybody on this team, to me, in my mind, are my projects. You know what I'm saying? Some of them older than me, but they still my kids in a way. That's not sound crazy, but yeah, for real. That's how I see it. It's a big old team, a family. We team building here, bro. It's iron sharpening iron, and that's what it's got to be. We have recently, added and to the team, and really great. I mean, when I talk about this lady, just positive energy, I love it. Like PMA, you know what I'm saying? Positive mental mindset. That's something I've believed in for a very long time. And she's going to be joining us here very shortly for a really fun game. We're going to be talking a little bit of Monday Night Raw. Then we're going to play That's True, That Might Be True, or That's Ridiculous, which is a really fun game to play. But man, she just really came in and just really quickly found her place on the team, and she does her own podcast, bumping and thumping, and it's an indie spotlight type of podcast, and that's how this podcast really like stepped up to that next level. It's the truth. Like, we started here at In Your House, and I know I'm doing a lot of talking. Trust me, we're gonna get to the good stuff. All right, let me brag about my team. You guys are gonna let me do it. This is my platform, and I'm gonna do it. I'm bragging about my team. But like, that's how we really got our start, is um interviewing talent locally. It really broke new ground for this podcast. So it's really cool to see everything that she's doing. Divinely Designed Annie O'Neal. She's going to be joining us here shortly to play That's True, That Might Be True, That's Ridiculous. But before that, I got to talk a little bit of Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, well, just like it has been for the past 2, 3, 4 weeks, it's been a movie, baby. I mean, it just has. And like, it's really great to see. Like, SummerSlam feels big. It feels mighty big. And I'm enjoying what I'm seeing with this CM Punk stuff. We learned this past Monday, because this is a question that has been with us here at In Your House. Yep, voice out. You started doing the same thing. A Moment with Josh Joseph. Go back and check out those older episodes before we really saw his talent and brought him in to the In Your House podcast network. Great, great stuff. But like, the thing about it is, y'all, the question was, is CM Punk cleared? When are we going to see the CM Punk Drew McIntyre match? When is it going to happen? And we don't know. We or at least we didn't know. Let me put it to you like that. At least we didn't know until we found out this past Monday night that, hey, CM Punk is cleared for competition. And I'm just, it was so crazy, because I was like, when's he going to do it? They're probably not going to do it at SummerSlam. He's not going to be cleared by then. And then boom, this man comes out and says, I just talked to my surgeon Saturday night. And who's talking to their surgeon on a Saturday night? That's my question. Are you really having a conversation with your surgeon on a Saturday night? You could be doing anything else. Punk. And you're on the phone with your surgeon on the Saturday night. That was weird to me. I don't know. But he's cleared. He's cleared for competition. And I just thought that it was perfect timing, especially this close to the show. They've got the match set, and then they bring that element in, which we kind of all, thought that it was going to happen. And that being Seth Rollins being the special enforcer, special guest referee at this match. I think it's the right thing to do, especially with the story that they've been building between these three men. So a lot of things moving on Monday Night Raw. We're definitely going to break it down more as we play That's True, That Might Be True, That's Ridiculous. But now we are going to go ahead and bring in my co-host here of what we're calling now the Raw Deal with Howse and O'Neal, and we're gonna put her on the hot seat, y'all. We gave her a little bit of a easy introduction last week, and it was now we're gonna put a little bit more pressure, and we're gonna continue to see if Divinely Designed Annie O'Neal is exactly what she seems to be, and that's the real deal Annie O'Neal, as she returns to In Your House. Welcome back.
What's up, everyone? I'm here, and I'm ready, and I've prepared, because I am the real deal. I know me, but the rest of the world doesn't know me, so let's go.
All right, so we talked a little Monday Night Raw in the house call chat. It seemed like it was really active, and then we talked a little bit about it. You were in the chat, I was in the chat as Grunmeister, Voice, and Hypocrisy Jones on our past Raw preview review show, but we haven't got a chance to really break it down. So now they did their preview. Now we're going to go ahead and review everything that happened on Monday Night Raw, but we're going to do it in an interesting way, Annie. We're going to play a game. And you say you like games, right?
I love games.
All right. So good. That's perfect. We're going to play That's True, That Might Be True, or That's Ridiculous. And for the sake, I know you are. We talked a little bit before the show, so you kind of know the rules of the game. But for anybody listening here, live on X, live on YouTube, Facebook Live, and then later on, the podcast edition will be available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. For you guys out there who haven't heard, the rules of the game is this: I will throw out a statement to Annie O'Neal, and it is going to be on her to tell me if she feels that that statement is true, it might be true, or if it is ridiculous. And then she's going to give her reasons why, and I will follow up with my thoughts, and we're just going to have fun and flow with it. And this is the Summerslam edition, guys. So we're going to jump right into it. Annie, are you ready to go?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Statement number one that I have written down for you. I just talked a little bit, Annie, about McIntyre, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk.
Mhm.
Their match is set for SummerSlam with a twist that one, they cannot touch each other until the match, and two, Seth Rollins is going to be the special guest referee. So, my statement for you, Annie, is this: Seth Rollins calls McIntyre and Punk down the middle. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
That's definitely true because who better than Seth Rollins to keep things fair and square than a person who hates both CM Punk and Drew McIntyre?
I can definitely see that. I'm gonna say, for me, I'm gonna say that might be true. And
Okay.
the reason that I say that is kind of pretty much for all the things that you just said. But
Hmm.
I know Seth Rollins, and sometimes Seth Rollins, he can be a little petty. I do think there will be moments in this match where he kind of plays head games with both of them. But I still have to say that might be true because he has beef with both of them, so he might not have any reason to fool around with them. So we're just going to have to see that match and see exactly where they're going to go with that. That's going to be very interesting. But so your answer is true. I'm going to say that might be true. And it's just like Grun is saying here. He's saying might be true as well, but he doesn't know what to expect. And I'm kind of in the same boat. And that's what I like about it, Annie.
I mean, I could definitely see why you went with it might be true because depending on how Seth Rollins is going to feel that day, might determine how he calls this match as it's official. So,
Yeah. I honestly thought the segment was good as well. The way they set up for it, it's definitely got to a point in this feud where it's like, yeah, things have boiled over. Where I don't even know if it's just going to be a one match thing. I can't see them just ending it at SummerSlam with everything that they've been through. I also feel like that whatever Seth Rollins does or doesn't do is gonna affect what happens as well. So it's an interesting thought. But what were your before we move on to the next one? Give me
mhm.
your overall thoughts on this segment and leading up to the match.
I just think it continues with the pattern of WWE and the storyline just becoming even finer. And it's just another layer of seeds being planted. I definitely don't think that this storyline is going to be wrapped up at SummerSlam. It's going to continue. And I really, really, really appreciate the fineness of the storylines that we are getting. I definitely loved the look on CM Punk's and Drew McIntyre's face when Adam Pearce revealed who that special referee was going to be. And it couldn't have been a better selection than Seth freaking Rollins. And the crowd went nuts because they were just as excited as I was. So I can't wait to see what's to come. And do you think they're going to be able to keep their hands off of each other before SummerSlam?
I mean, they have to. I mean, they
Mhm.
they have to if they want the match. I mean, I just can't like I so one thing that that's been in my mind lately,
Mhm,
Annie, is the comparison of the general managers between Adam Pierce
mhm,
and Nick Aldis. And to
mhm,
me, like I love Scrap Daddy. Like Adam
mhm,
Pierce, his wrestling career and everything was great, but like in character, I'm just thinking to myself, like, man,
mhm.
you're kind of like losing the reins as a GM. And I just feel like if they touch each other and he still lets the match happen, it's just going to be complete anarchy. Nobody's going to listen to this man and nobody's going to respect his authority. So I think if they do, he's got to call the match off, but I
Yes,
don't think that they will.
yes. And and what a smart play by Pierce to instill that stipulation. Because if there is no control in the circus, then all of the animals go awry.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like the chaos. It is the tension is building,
Yeah.
and I really do think that Seth Rollins is that spark that's going to set the kerosene ablaze. And I'm really excited. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I dig it as well. I like the statement by Voice saying that one of them can push Seth into the other
Mhm,
for some sort of physical contact, maybe
mhm,
on the next Monday Night Raw, and
mhm.
technically they wouldn't be touching each other.
Right. Would that be the last? That would be the last show before SummerSlam. Would be SmackDown
Yep,
or ooh,
this next Raw. Yep, yep.
gotcha.
So it would be a perfect time to do it. Perfect time to do it.
Oh, and a lot can happen in just one segment, especially leading up to SummerSlam.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and not
And
to mention, how did Drew arrive in his understanding? Like he the past couple times we've seen him, he's been heated, and he's reached like this sense of calm before the storm.
yeah, I think
Switched.
yeah, that's a good point because it seemed like Punk once he got cleared, he was like he had a head of steam. He was ready to jump right into it, and
Hmm.
you had McIntyre there, and he's just like, eh, I'll get you when I get you. I know I got you now, so we'll do this. Yeah, definitely. It's been a changing of the guard as far as the attitudes between the two, but I like it. This feud, they've been building this, and this has been a very heated rivalry since January. We're
Hmm.
about to be
Hmm.
in August. Very well built. I've enjoyed it. It's just been really good in my eyes.
And I really loved because Punk came out, he was wrapping his hands with his tape, and he was so excited to announce that he was cleared. And then Drew's like, meh,
Yeah,
meh.
yeah. I love it. I love it. So moving along, because we got to move along here to our next
Sure.
statement here. Somebody that you really admire that I learned is that you're a big admirer of Rhea Ripley,
I
mommy.
am. I am.
And I mean, why wouldn't she be? She's an amazing competitor, amazing character, true to herself. A lot of stuff to like about Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is now and herself a very heated feud, storied feud that goes honestly. This is what WWE is doing, Annie. I mean, this
Mhm.
story has been building with Liv Morgan for since last year.
Yeah.
When Rhea Ripley put her on the shelf and then Liv Morgan came back, and then she put Mommy on the shelf, and now she took her title,
Right.
took it was shoulder for a shoulder, now
Mhm.
trying to take her man, and everything that's going on this past Monday. Dominic Mysterio, who's really been kind of the pawn in all of this, in the middle of all of this, it appears to be standing on business and
Mhm.
saying to Liv Morgan, I hate you. Everything's been terrible since you haven't left me alone, and things of that nature. And we saw a very ugly cry from Liv Morgan. I mean, just
Oh, oh, she does not win the daytime TV award. Does not.
no. It was an interesting segment. And honestly, it's created a lot of memes out of it and things. I've enjoyed. I thought it's been funny.
Yes.
Uh, but but they got to have a match. As good as that segment was, it's all going to be about the match. voice, damn. Damn. But
No lie detected. No lie detected from voice.
but we got to have the match,
Right.
and this is and honestly this is a very important match because there's a lot of it's more, this match is one of those matches where yes the title was involved, but this has become so much bigger than the title.
Mhm.
I
It is.
mean a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot for Rhea Ripley. She's already, seemingly got her family back, seemingly got Dominic back, as we saw this past Monday. And now the last thing that she's going to try to get back is her championship. So my statement is this: Rhea Ripley is going to get her title back at SummerSlam. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
As much as it pains me to say, I'm going to say that's ridiculous. I don't think she will walk out of SummerSlam the champ. I think it's necessary for her character development. I think Liv has been upping the espionage with not only between she and Dom, but the rest of Judgment Day. So I think it's only going to add another layer of nuance. Liv Morgan she's putting everyone upside down in her head games, and I'm not fired. You can't. No, no. Heck no, you can't fire me. But I think Rhea is in the midst of being removed from Judgment Day. I think it's all a part of the impending implosion, and just to see what that fall from Judgment Day, from her family and from her seemingly amazing bond with Dom, that's just going to make her skyrocket as a face. It really is. Inevitably, she will get that title back, but I don't think it's going to be at SummerSlam.
That's it right there. You have voice saying that we don't go against mommy. I'm sorry, bro,
I'm
but
not
I
going
think
against mommy. I'm not. I'm just saying what I think is going to
Yep.
happen. And
Yep.
it pains me to say, I did preface my statement with that.
But I gotta agree with you because Rhea Ripley getting the title back at SummerSlam is ridiculous. And it's ridiculous because it doesn't need to happen right now. There's a bigger story to be told. We already know that we have Damian Priest and we have Rhea Ripley who are in both similar positions right now, where they are transitioning between being top heels to now becoming top baby faces. They're both being positioned in that spot. And I just think giving her the title right now at SummerSlam, it's just like, all right, everything's just resolved like that. She just got her family back, got her man back, and got her title back just like that. No, I don't think that's gonna happen, and I don't think that needs to happen. I think there's a bigger story in
Right.
Dominic Mysterio turning his back on
Yes.
Rhea Ripley and siding with Liv Morgan, making Liv Morgan retain her championship. Liv becomes becomes an even bigger heel from that. Dom becomes an even bigger heel from that. And in turn, Rhea Ripley becomes a bigger sympathetic babyface in that way. And like I said, you can really do something where you could even possibly do Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest versus Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan at Bad Blood, and kind of push it off there, and then wait until Survivor Series to have maybe a stipulation match between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, because at that point you will have done it they will have seen each other a couple of times in the ring, so I think you got to keep it fresh.
Right.
By staying there and having something different, because doing the same match over and over again isn't going to work.
Right.
But that being said, there's a bigger story there with that can honestly make mommy an even bigger star, even bigger than what she already is. And she's already touching like great things.
Really is.
She's been champion. She's been on the cover of WWE 2K. Like she is her, and maybe it's not feeling like that right now because she's been injured for the last few months, and then Bianca Belair has been, relegated to a tag team and doing different stuff. But let's not forget, just 6 months ago, Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair were both faces of the company, and they can still assume that role.
Right.
So I think that you still, there's still a floor for her to go even bigger, even though she feels super big. I think the floor for her, like there's the ceiling's even higher on her. It feels like.
And the
that's
parts have to be in play for those things to occur. And I really do think that it's going to come to a pinfall where Rhea is almost going to get it, and then I think Dom is going to intervene. Yep. So that fall from that pivotal point, it's going to give the crowd an opportunity to really rally behind her, and she'll even ascend where she last left off, from exactly the point you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, Joan, or Voice that is, says that he thinks that he would make Liv the sympathetic baby face, and then have Rhea be the bigger heel. I don't know, because I just see Rhea Ripley, like, with her unique style and her transition, because right now, and let's okay, so I'll say this: Judgment Day. The Judgment Day faction has done exactly what it was designed to do, and that was create top stars that when the Judgment Day breaks up, they are going to stay top stars outside of that stable. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like, honestly, we all talk about the Bloodline for a good reason. Bloodline has been a great faction, but when you're not talking about the Bloodline, the Judgment Day has ran Monday Night Raw. I mean, they've been pivotal parts of that show, and whether it be them involved in promos, matches, getting over themselves, putting over other talent, Judgment Day has literally been one of the best things for Monday Night Raw, and it's been one of the best things for these individuals' careers.
And they just got the tag team titles back, so they're still capable of winning and acquiring that gold, which, Priest still has. He has his title, and we'll see if he walks away with it from SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But I really, even given with those points in mind, I don't know what we're going to see next.
Yeah.
Do they weather the storm, or does the unit fall apart?
Yeah, and we could see a possible double turn there. I mean, it's a possibility. Like Voice is saying here, we could see that double turn, because right now, very much, if you're the mannerisms of Liv Morgan, heel, and I wouldn't even want to say that the mannerisms of Rhea Ripley are babyface, because it's just Rhea Ripley being Rhea Ripley, and people are just responding to it.
It's just the scenario surrounding her that are shaping her that way.
Yeah.
She's not necessarily exuding more of those characteristics that make someone face. It's just the turning of the events.
Yeah. Yep. She's just, and that's kind of what we're seeing in today's like reality version of WWE, where it's like back in the day when Vince was running things, it was very much, oh, I like that. I like what Voice is saying here. It's very much Austin-ish vibes, where it's just like she's just a badass and people love that she's a badass. I like that. But Vince, he would very much be like, okay, we are going to try to tell you, the fans, who we want you to like and who we want you to not like. And fans rejected that. It rejected it for years under the Vince McMahon regime. But now that we're in this new, regime, it's like, we're going to let you like who you like. And that's kind of what the vibe is,
And that's what I really appreciate, because once you try and pressure me to feel a certain way, chances are I'm going to do the exact opposite. So I like coming to the table on my own terms. So I like to feel, and I even like Liv Morgan. I don't dislike her. There are things that give me this reaction of, ooh, that's underhanded, that's seedy. But there's parts of me that I appreciate that about her, because she has nothing to lose. And with that in mind, she might just gain everything.
Yeah, for sure. She's definitely playing to her role. Like, once again, like I've said on past episodes, Liv Morgan is doing some of the best work of her career, and I just love it. I absolutely love it. But we got to move on. We got to push forward here on the that's true, that might be true, or that might be true, that's ridiculous game here, because we've been seeing on Monday Night Raw Of course, we talk about the prominence of somebody like Liv Morgan coming in to her own. We've seen Chad Gable really come into his own,
Yes.
and now we're seeing him as a bigger heel now, like a mid card heel right now, and really just playing that role to a T, getting the stable together with the Creed brothers, which I think is a good fit. We've kind of saw that
Really
was coming for a while.
agree.
But it seems like he's jumping into something with the Wyatt Six. And before I ask you the statement, I do have to get your thoughts on the Nikki Cross sister Abigail tape that was shown. Before we get to the statement here, what were your thoughts on that tape?
I really like this character arc for Nikki Cross. You know, she's really proved that she can do anything that's given to her. She will take the ball and run with it. And
Yeah.
I always knew that she had the makings of psychopath,
Yeah.
and she will deliver. She but there's some depth, like creepy elements in this videotape that we saw.
Yeah.
She was crying, and then she just lets out this blood curdling scream. Like it was
Yeah.
orienting. It made it sent chills up my spine, and
Yeah.
I really can't wait to see what she makes of this. I really can't.
Yeah. It was giving Ring heavily, like for me.
Yes. Yes. And, you know, last week I said, you know, if a mysterious tape shows up on my doorstep, we burn it. We burn it. We bury it 6 feet under, and then we move on.
Yeah.
Because,
Yep.
and, you know, I really think people have been sleeping on Nikki Cross. And I think that the right part has finally come along for her.
That's it. That's the one right there. That's absolutely the one right there. Nikki Cross to me has always been good. And I remember her playing the original Nikki Cross character on the Indies, where she was this crazy, just psychotic ball of energy. And she played it so well. And then she kind of did it a little bit when she came to WWE. And then they transitioned and had her do other things and things like that. But this here really feels like it fits her vibe. And it just feels perfect for her. The video was chilling, like you said. I mean, it made my skin crawl. But this has been exactly what we've been seeing here with the Wyatts. It's masterful to me what I'm
The
seeing.
hair on my arms is standing up even just thinking about it. All of my
Yeah.
instincts that keep me alive are telling me to run. And I have
Yeah.
final girl energy, don't get me wrong, but like Nikki Cross, if you cross her in a dark alley, game over for you.
Yeah.
I like being alive.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I'm trying to make it to the end of the movie, so if I gotta run, I'm going. I'm going.
Same. But like she keeps delivering these tapes. We didn't see Bo Dallas. We saw Uncle Howdy come out and deliver the sister Abigail to Chad Gable. So I guess I guess my statement is this here. We see a Gable and Wyatt Six appearance at SummerSlam. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
You know what? I'm gonna say that's true because there is so much momentum building behind the Wyatt Six that I think it's so important to capitalize on it right now. Like time is of the essence. There's not the window of opportunity is open, and I say run it.
Yeah.
However that appears, I'm unsure, but
Yeah. That's true. I agree with you. That's true. I'm in the realm of thinking maybe next week we could see Dexter or Gacy tape. We could see that tape. But I definitely think something more is going to happen. I don't think it's going to be a match. That's why I said appearance. I think whatever they do is not going to be a match, but it's going to be an appearance. And maybe they use SummerSlam as the opportunity to really, because they've just been kind of like playing with their food a little bit here with Chad Gable. Maybe at SummerSlam we kind of see all of them come together, or we maybe see a next chapter and what their agenda is going to be.
Mhm.
Like I'm interested to see, but my mindset is, yeah, that's true. We will see them do something at SummerSlam.
So how do you think that Uncle Howdy is recruiting his members of his family, if that's how it works?
That's interesting as well, but I don't know if he's recruiting them as much as they've taken the embodiment
Sure,
of
sure.
these Bray Wyatt characters, because we know that, even though we know that on one side, and this is really what I'm loving about it, because it's not like they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes by saying,
Right.
"Oh no, this is Rambling Rabbit." Like, no, we know that it's Eric Rowan as Rambling Rabbit, and they're two different entities. There's Eric Rowan and there's
Yes.
Rambling Rabbit.
Mhm.
So I like that. There's Mercy the Buzzer, and then there's Dexter Loomis. There's Huskus the Pig Boy, and there's Joe Gacy. There's Nikki Cross and their sister Abigail. There's Bo Dallas, and there's Uncle Howdy. And I just like that. Like, it's almost like they're it's like a schizophrenic thing going, and it's I enjoy it. It's definitely like borderline, like horror movie, psycho horror type, that situation going on
Right.
right now. And but to answer your question, I'm not sure if it's recruiting as it is that they're the embodiment of these characters and it brought them all together.
And I like how you were talking about earlier, that we're this generation of WWE, the fan is allowed to come and make their own assumptions.
Yeah.
And because, my internal relation is going to be different than yours. And, and when we have that gap of, I don't know, illusion, it's going to sensationalize the storyline even more.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great point. That is a great point. So Voice says that he thinks that Gable is going to challenge him next Monday, and he's going to accept the challenge. So maybe we could see a match. That's the thoughts of the Voice, Josh Joseph. And then Grunmeister says he thinks Uncle Howdy is recruiting. He's giving them purpose and a family. So that's a good thought too. I like that as well.
And going back to the video package from Eric Rowan last Raw,
Yeah.
that's in and of, and that's what he said. It's given him purpose. And
Yep.
one thing I really really like, I'm a sucker for continuity. The first time that Chad Gable called out Bo Dallas, and the Creed brothers, and put the smackdown on him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Bo Dallas said, "There you are." And then and last night's Raw, or Monday night's Raw, the Wyatt Six came out, and then Chad was looking at the entrance, and then he turns around, and there's Uncle Howdy, and he says, "There you are." I'm getting
Yeah.
chills all over again. I am
So
completely
good.
enamored. Like, I just can't wait to see what happens next.
So good. I mean, it just is. It's so good. They're taking such good care of this, and I'm really appreciating it. It's good stuff. So the Wyatts doing their thing once again. I think we both were on the realm that is true. That we're going to see them do something at SummerSlam,
I
and we
don't think there's
see.
a match coming yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's going to be a match. I think there will be a heavy I think whatever they do with SummerSlam, I think the interaction might be a slightly bit heavier than what
Yeah.
we've been seeing them do on
Yes.
Monday Night Raw. So we're going to move on to the next statement
Mhm.
here. We've been talking heavily about the Judgment Day and the Judgment Day's influence on Monday Night Raw. We talked a lot about Rhea Ripley and the interesting path that she's taking, where it seems like she is turning the corner here, where it's a slow pivot from top heel to top babyface. In that statement, I also mentioned Damian Priest and him being on the similar trajectory with Rhea Ripley, where he's pivoting from a top heel to becoming a top face in the company.
Mhm.
But he's got a big match, Anio. He's got a big match against Gunther. Gunther is a man who's also been on a different trajectory himself. I
Mhm.
mean, longest reigning intercontinental champion of all time. Also won King of the Ring, and that King of the Ring tournament victory granted him a title match at SummerSlam against Damian Priest for that World Heavyweight Championship. My question, or my statement, that is for you, is this: Gunther walks out of SummerSlam as World Heavyweight Champion. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
That's a tough one. You got my brain space churning. I'm gonna say that might be true
Mm-hmm.
because I really could see it going either way. Um, but time is of the essence. And does Gunther achieve the title after all of these amazing promos he's delivering and all of these facts he's been delivering in front of the WWE universe? Because, he wants to put prestige on that title. He wants to bring greatness back. He in the package opening Raw, he said he's carving a new mountaintop. But at the same time, what does it do for Priest if he holds the belt after SummerSlam?
Yeah.
Because
What's going to
if
be next?
right, if he slays the giant that is Gunther, he's going to rise to an even new level of being a heel. But also, if the title is removed from Priest, it's one of those catch 22s that both outcomes I'm going to be satisfied with.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I say it might be true. It might be true.
Yeah, I definitely could see where you could say that might be true. We got the chat here saying that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Then Hype is saying that might be ridiculously true. Which, what does that mean, Hype? You tell us. But
Yeah, I'll let him explain
yeah,
that.
but for me, I mean, I think I played this game with the voice Josh Joseph about a month or so ago,
Mhm.
and one of the questions was, or one of the statements was, Gunther and Nia Jax comes out of this as champion, as it was King of the Ring related. And I stood on business and I said that's true. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I'm gonna follow up here. I'm gonna stand on it. I'm gonna say that's true. Gunther is walking out of SummerSlam World Heavyweight Champion. I think it's time. I think it's the right moment for it. But also on the flip side of things, I think there's an opportunity to tell a different type of story with Damian Priest if you take the title off of him and he has to fight from the bottom. There's even a possibility there could be a story there of what if Finn takes his moment to strike? What if Finn ends up costing Damian Priest the title? Because there's been a little bit of jealousy there. I mean, I've been saying for months that you got to watch what Finn Balor is doing. I know, voice. I know. I got to stand on business, bro. But I really think, I truly think that there's a story to be told there with Finn Balor and Damian Priest, because there's been little hints there that Finn Balor, he's feeling some type of way. I mean, he is. I mean, he's told Damian that since he's won the title, he's changed. He's kind of stared down Damian behind his back. And, he's took that opportunity to interject himself into the Seth Rollins feud, even though he did not come out during the match.
Mhm.
But I think there's a story to be told there with those two. And then, to me, Damian Priest has really built himself up to be a budding, top babyface in the company. I don't think this is the only Damian Priest title reign that you're gonna see. I just don't. I think he can get that title again soon, but right now I think it's a good time to tell a different story with him, and I think it's a good time for Gunther to be that top heel champion. I think that it's true.
And if Damien happens to lose the title, that's a really good strategy for him to exit the Judgment Day and for Finn to, take up the reins and be like, you know what? You are a loser. You don't belong with us.
Yep.
And
It's there.
that animosity is a perfect recipe for a solid storyline.
I agree. I most definitely agree.
If you're at the mountaintop, so to speak, it's a long way back down and a long ascension up back the ladder.
Yeah. And that's, to me, there's a story in that right there. So
Mhm.
like him trying to just get back to the mountaintop. And honestly, I do believe, I do believe in my heart of hearts that if he loses this title and then the time that Damian Priest gets back to the title, it's going to give him an opportunity to become an even bigger star.
I agree with
I
you.
I, I do believe that. I truly do. But we're gonna move forward here. Speaking of guys that can become bigger stars and has become a bigger star since his transition from NXT to the main roster, it's Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is absolutely one of my favorite things on Monday Night Raw. He's a complete, just unpredictable ass kicker. And I appreciate that about him. I like that fact that he's, you might not expect to see him, but guess what? There he is. And he's spearing somebody off the ropes at 23 miles per hour, which is ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
He is the human embodiment of a great white shark. Once
Yeah.
he sets his eyes on something, he's not willing, or he's willing to shed that blood in order to achieve that outcome. And he has this aura of madness around him. Like he is out of control. I have to,
Very
and
out of control.
he's not afraid to chum the waters
Yeah.
for feeding time. He really isn't. And everything about him just makes my senses scream, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Because whew, whew, he's
I mean,
and
that's a large man that could run at Sonic the Hedgehog speed. I don't want to have anything to do with that.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I
And
just I'm good. I'm good. But somebody that does have to deal with him, Annie, is once again Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has to deal with Braun Breaker again, because we saw Braun Breaker have, I mean, really a good match with Ilya Dragunov this past
fantastic
Monday.
match.
I
Fantastic.
mean, these guys they get it. I mean, I know it's not the first, second, or even third time these guys have wrestled, but that's why it's so good, because the chemistry is just on another level.
And Ilya Dragunov's ability to sell the moves is outstanding. Now,
Yeah.
unlike Liv Morgan, who doesn't deserve the daytime Emmy, I really think Ilya Dragunov does.
Yeah.
I feel
I've
like
become such a fan of him.
I know, so good. It's like poetry and motion. Just like the ways he defies physics. It's just a visual symphony. And I never want to take my eyes off Ilya Dragunov.
Agreed. I mean, I just do. I really enjoy what he does, and voice saying Ayo won't have ribs if he keeps taking them spears. I mean, it's true. It's true. And he sells them so good. He does. Like, it just, like, and they had to do the ref stoppage, and once again, that's a good, I liked that just because it kept Dragunov from being pinned. And
Right,
Dragunov is one of those guys that's like, he's not somebody that, the way that his character is tailored is that he's not going to go down that easily. So like the
right.
ref stoppage was a good touch. I liked that. But that resulted in Braun Breaker getting the victory, and now he's going to move on. He's going to face Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. They already had this dance once, Annie, at Money in the Bank, and Sami Zayn ended Braun Breaker's streak, beat him clean, 1, 2, 3. So my statement here is Braun Breaker will finally defeat Sami Zayn and become the Intercontinental Champion at SummerSlam. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
I'm gonna say that's true. It's the timing is spot on. I think Braun Breaker shows up week after week. He does what's asked of him, and I think the person to knock Sami Zayn off that pinnacle is Braun Breaker. I really, really, really do. And they create such magic in the ring. The way that Sami Zayn can get someone over is ridiculous, and I think he will serve that role well when it comes to the inevitable victory of Braun Breaker. I really, really, really think that's going to be the outcome. I really think there's going to be a couple title changes at SummerSlam, but I really do think that's going to be one of them.
I agree. I agree. For me, that's true. I think that it is time. I think that it's time. This is, you know what? I'm glad that they staggered it off from Money in the Bank to SummerSlam, because now Braun Breaker is going to be able to say, I have a SummerSlam, or I got a SummerSlam moment, and not just a SummerSlam moment, because SummerSlam is a big four pay-per-view,
Right.
but also the really kick off his main roster run as a champion. And it's time. Like, usually guys don't touch that title this quick after coming to the main roster. With him, it feels right. It most definitely does feel right. And I I enjoy Braun Breaker's run. I truly think that Sami Zayn's been a great champion. He really has. And Braun Breaker is the right guy to take it off of him. I mean, there was concerns about, like, oh boy, how are we going to book the Intercontinental Championship after Gunther's reign? This feels good. This feels right. This feels like it's the right thing to do. I think they are going to pull that trigger. And we've said it before last week when we talked. There's different stories that Sami Zayn can tell without that title. So I just feel like it's true. I feel like that we're going to get that moment. Braun Breaker's going to get that moment. He's going to become Intercontinental Champion at SummerSlam.
And who knows? He might chase Gunther's Intercontinental title reign. He might do it. If there's anyone I feel like is up to the challenge, it's going to be Braun Breaker. And what better challenge for him to complete than before he enters the heavyweight title picture? Because that's inevitable too.
Yeah. I think it's definitely 100% that's coming. Yeah.
Within the next 3 years, even sooner. But I think he's going to be an unstoppable force, even more so than he already is right now.
I do like what you're saying as far as Dragunov and the Benoit comparison, just because, like, the in-ring work, because I've been watching a lot of Dragunov lately, like a lot of Dragunov matches, and like everything that he can do in the ring, all his abilities, and then his motor and even his demeanor. Yeah, that's Benoit-esque to me. So I like that. But yeah, most definitely Braun new champion. To me, it's easy. OG Tony kind of sees the same thing there with Braun being the new champion. But moving right along here, well, that's not the only mid-card title that's going to be defended at SummerSlam, Annie. Also, the United States Championship is going to be defended, as Logan Paul is going to be defending against LA Knight. There's a lot of noise that people were thinking that title was going to change hands, and a good reason for it. I mean, we've had a respectable run from Logan Paul, and him being the US champion, I think, has been good for him and good for the company. Is it time for something to change? We're going to see, but I'm going to ask you, or I'm going to pose this statement to you. Logan Paul's US title reign continues after SummerSlam. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
All right. Hold on. I need a minute, because I'm going to loathe myself as soon as the words come out of my mouth. That's ridiculous. I think Logan is going to retain. I don't want him to. I'm going to preface that for voice in the comments. No, I think he's going to take it, because I think that is one of the things that is expected to happen. Yeah. And I think WWE has this this pattern that's like, well, I'm going to show you and do the exact opposite. Yeah. So I think Logan Paul is going to retain.
That's interesting. That's an interesting thought there. For this one, I am gonna ride the fence. I'm gonna say that might be true, just because I think that it is time for LA Knight to win the United States Championship. I honestly do. Agree. But for all the reasons that you just said, they might be like, "Oh, you're expecting it to happen? Let's just go ahead and pivot and piss you off. Piss you off. Just get you all pissed off."
Want this carrot? You want this carrot we're dangling in front of you?
Nope. Nope. I do. I think that there's a reality that they could possibly keep the title on Logan Paul. Once again, I have to say, I know you guys out there saying,
I
LA
agree.
Knight needs it, and you're saying Grandmaster's saying that if Knight loses, he's dead in the water, and Hype is saying Knight will be fine if he loses. I think there is a growing thought amongst the IWC that if LA Knight does not win at SummerSlam, it's like, okay, what are we doing? Like what's the path with this guy? Because he's had many opportunities to win
Mhm.
the Universal Championship. He's had opportunity to win Money in the Bank. He's had
Yeah, I
opportunities to
thought
win
he
the
was
United
going to
States
win Money in the Bank.
Championship.
That was my pick.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
didn't
mean, he's had
expect her to come out on top on that night. I really did
yeah.
not.
Yeah, Annie, I just think that honestly, it needs to happen. The time feels right for it for LA Knight to win that championship. But there's just that other part of me that's like, but what if WWE trolls us all?
I
What if
really
they troll us all?
That's what I think. I think that's what's going to happen. But what is left for LA Knight to do if he doesn't come out victorious? I mean, there are plenty of things for Logan Paul to do. He'll have a really good mid card run. I really do think
Oh
he's
yeah,
capable of that. But the fans are 100% behind LA Knight, and I hope they pull the trigger, but I don't think they're going to.
yeah. This one. This is what I'm honestly liking about the SummerSlam. There's a lot of like moving parts and ramifications to it, where it's like
Yes.
the obvious person, like the person who you think should obviously win, might not win because of this other thing over here that we're not thinking about.
Mm.
So there's just a million things moving that I think is interesting. And that continues here with this next statement here, Annie, as we have Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton, she is Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffy in the Bank, as she's calling it. We could definitely see her come Friday night with the new briefcase. That other briefcase kind of got destroyed and whatnot this past Friday. But it's an interesting thing because she kind of teased a cash in on Bailey,
Mhm.
and we saw it coming. But of course, we know that Nia Jax, she's got a match coming. Nia Jax has that championship match against Bailey at SummerSlam. And this is her opportunity. Nia, who's been on honestly to me the best run of her career, has an opportunity to really capitalize on that, Annie, and win the title. And I think she will win the title. I think that's going to happen. But my statement to you is this:
Mhm.
Tiffany Stratton cashes in on specifically Nia Jax after Nia Jax wins at SummerSlam.
I'm going
That's true.
to
I'm sorry. That's true. That might be true. That's ridiculous. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this is true. I think Nia Jax will go the distance with Bailey, and then when she finally gets her hand raised, and when she finally receives that belt, it's going to be Tiffy time. That's what I foresee happening,
Yeah.
and I think that moment of opportunity might just come for Tiffany Stratton, but then we will have a rematch between Tiffany and Nia for the belt. That's my prediction. That's what I'm seeing in the forecast. I'm gonna run it that way. I'm gonna say this is true.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
this is another one where I have to ride the fence. I'm going to say that might be true, just because I do see there being a scenario where Nia Jax wins the championship and Tiffany kind of strings her along a little bit to
Mm-hmm.
eventually cash in. But there's also a reality where, like you said, she can go to distance with Bailey. They could just have a grueling knockdown, drag out fight, a brawl of a match, which honestly that wouldn't be too like off the radar for these two. I mean, it's not ridiculous to think these two would just go and go have a good like 12 to 15 minute just brawl and just take it out of each other, and they'll be blown up, and then we could hear it's Tiffy time, and she's
Yep.
gonna come down as she comes and cashes in on Nia Jax, and it would just be a thing where it's like Nia Jax kind of felt like that she saw Tiffany Stratton as like her little plaything, her little Barbie or whatever. What
Mm-hmm.
if Tiffany Stratton is actually been stringing Nia Jax along this whole time, getting close to her, getting ready for a moment just like this? I think that there's definitely different ways that you can go with it. I'm gonna say that might be true.
That's a very interesting point that you bring up because um, Nia Jax might be so committed to her version of reality that she's completely blindsided by Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton seems to be that type of character. Don't let an appearance fool you, because that's when you're gonna get sucker punched. I'm just saying. I mean,
True.
anything could be written in the stars, but there's only one way to find out. That's to watch SummerSlam. But
Absolutely.
mhm.
Absolutely. OG Tony saying, could Nia lose and then destroy Bailey, then Tiffany cashes in? That's a possibility too. That's a
Definitely.
possibility too. But my question for that is, since Nia felt some type of way about Tiffany attempting a cash in a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, would she really just let her cash in? Like, would she allow that to happen? If Tony, if that did happen, it would have to be Nia beats down Bailey and leaves her laying in the middle of the ring, and then she goes back to Gorilla, and that's when Tiffany runs out, almost seemingly like passing Nia Jax in the locker room. Nia has no clue what's happening. She doesn't have time to react. And Tiffany just cashes in and wins. And then the next SmackDown, you can see Nia react to it and, be pissed off by it or whatever. But it's not totally out of the realm. It's crazy. But you got hype saying Tiffany's finna shock everybody by being loyal. I don't know. I don't see Tiffany Stratton like that. I see Tiffany Stratton as somebody like she's an opportunist. Like,
she is. That's exactly the word I would use when describing Tiffany Stratton. I would have to agree with you. She is an opportunist. And that's why I think that Bailey and Nia are going to just blow each other out. And that's when Tiffany's going to cash in.
Yeah. I'm judging. I'm judging hype. I'm judging.
I think it's going to be an amazing match. I think Nia, she's been working her ass off. She has
absolutely
she's in the best shape of her life. Anytime I've seen her recently, she has this larger than life appearance. She is exuding herself as this amazing powerhouse, and I think Bailey is going to go the distance with her, and they're going to go blow for blow, and every card is going to be pulled in this match, and then I think Tiffany is going to cash in.
Yep, just like Tony says, Tiffany is all about herself. At the end of the day, she's looking out for number one, and that's who Tiffany really is.
Everyone though, isn't every person? It's every woman for themselves in this this shark.
Yep,
infested water.
It's a dog eat dog. It's a dog eat dog world out there.
It's you run the risk of betrayal when you run in a faction, and you run the risk of being by yourself.
Yep,
you really do.
It's true. That is facts. So it's not us really judging hype. It's just us seeing Tiffany Stratton for who she really is, and that is edge levels of ultimate opportunists. So
and I can't say I wouldn't do the same.
Yeah. I mean, if you can be champion, you're gonna take that opportunity. Everybody wants to be a champion, and the success rate on the women's Money in the Bank briefcase is 100%. I like those odds.
I mean, I remember Lyra Valkyria at the end of Crown Jewel. I do. No thanks. I would want to leave the ring intact. Thank you. So I will let Bailey and Nia claw each other up, and then I would cash in. I would absolutely take advantage. So that's just smart. That's smart tactic.
It is smart tactics because everybody wants to be at the top of the mountain there, Annie. And this next statement, it's pretty similar here. As somebody who wants to put himself at the top of the mountain, he calls himself the tribal chief. Is he the tribal chief? That's Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa, who has now bullied himself into an opportunity for the Universal Championship against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam by really attacking his mentor Randy Orton, taking him out, and then we saw something similar. We saw the same powerbomb happen to Cody Rhodes this past Friday, and it seems like the Bloodline has things firmly intact. But really, I want to put the focus here on Solo Sikoa specifically, because Solo is really, he's cutting interesting promos to me. They're produced promos, but they're produced really well, and I like them.
Mhm.
And he's calling himself the tribal chief. He's directly referencing Roman by saying Roman failed the family, and now it's his turn, or his opportunity, to try to fix it and make it right by beating Cody for the championship. We've really been seeing former In Your House guest Solo Sikoa move at a different level right now, and it's interesting. So I guess my statement is this: Solo Sikoa raises his stock by having a great match with Cody at SummerSlam. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Oh man, I'm really this. You came with the pressure. You weren't lying. This came. You really. But I'm gonna have to say that might be true. That
Yeah.
might be true. You know, I have to question the credibility of the laurels if Solo Sikoa puts them on himself. You
Yeah.
know, he's been having Roman has done a lot in expanding the bloodline. He really has, but he kind of hasn't made that Roman is away.
Yeah.
Yep. He's oh, that's funny. He's the that's really funny. It might be true. You know, Solo has achieved something in Roman's absence. He really has, but you know, ruling people out of fear only gets you so far. You know,
Yep.
how loyal are the other people in the bloodline to him? You know, if you rule out of fear, that doesn't necessarily gain you respect. You know, Roman is I mean, right now, Solo is the interim tribal chief, but that doesn't make him the actual leader because Roman is off right now. You know,
Yep.
but when he returns, will he be able to go toe to toe with Roman? And he will have to answer for all of his shenanigans when Roman does return.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right on that one. I do see the trajectory on Solo Sikoa. I think that Solo Sikoa, somebody who I know really well. I've shared locker rooms with him. I know the family. I mean, he was always cool to me. We've kicked it before. He's a good dude. But I do see this raising in trajectory of Solo Sikoa, where it really seems like we saw him kind of play like he was the street champ in NXT, and then they brought him up and he became the enforcer of the bloodline, and now his character development has become that the ego that came with being the enforcer has now put him in the mindset that he's the tribal chief. I think there's real character development with Solo Sikoa. Even if Solo Sikoa is not like the best wrestler, he's still developed in a way that I think that they've taken care of his character, and that they've upped him and upped his stock in the time that they've had him. Because I can tell you for sure, Solo hasn't been wrestling that long. I think he's been wrestling maybe around like 5 years, 5-6 years, maybe. So not like an incredible long amount of time, but he's been put in a position of prominence quickly. Like, it was quick. And I think that he's owned that, and I think that he's, really stood up to that, because that's hard to do. That's hard to be like, hey, you are in this family, so that means your timeline for success has to go faster, so you have to learn quicker than what somebody who has time to actually learn the craft and whatnot. Like, bro, you're born into this, you need to figure it out fast. You know what I'm saying?
Under pressure.
Yep. True. Pressure makes diamonds. And it's absolutely facts, and I say that a lot. But it's you said Solo looks like the cousin who tells on everyone. He probably was, bro. He probably was. Like, you would have probably Roman like probably spear Jimmy like in the bedroom or something, and Jimmy starts crying or something, and Roman's like, shh, don't tell. And then you have Solo and he's like, oh, I'm telling. Look what Roman did.
I can validate that. I can validate that.
I could see it. I could most definitely see it. But another thing that I do see is that this might be true. It might be true that we can see a different level come from Solo Sikoa from this match. And this could possibly be the is it? This might be Solo Sikoa's biggest match of his career. Because I believe he'd be main eventing this. So that put him in the it's gotta be. That has to be the biggest match of his career if he main events one of the big four. It's something he's never done before. So I'm gonna say it. I think this is the biggest match of Solo Sikoa's career, and I think that he is going to rise to the occasion. And I said that might be true. I'm kind of pivoting here. I think it's true. I think that he's going to rise to the occasion. I think he's going to have a great match. I don't think he's winning, but I think that his stock is going to rise from this match, and we're going to see a different level of Solo Sikoa that comes out of SummerSlam. So yeah, I'm pivoting here mid game. I'm saying it's true. I think we do see a different layer come from Solo Sikoa.
So what do you think will come of the fact when the self-elected tribal leader and the tribal leader inevitably meet? What do you think happens between the standoff resulting from Solo and Roman?
That's an interesting question. So
that sets up a match at Bad Blood, or will that come even sooner?
So I don't think it's going to come sooner than that.
Sure.
And this is a great pivot into my last statement that I have. And that involves the main event at SummerSlam. To answer your question, I think when these two do go face to face, I think that it's going to be a thing where they're going to come face to face. And I'll just say right here, the statement is Roman Reigns returns at SummerSlam, and I'll start this one off just to answer your question. I say that's true. I say that Roman Reigns is going to return at SummerSlam. I think that we're going to see. Cody retain. I think that Cody is going to retain the title, get out of Dodge. That's going to leave Solo Sikoa to possibly go up the ramp or be in the ring or something like that. And we could even see. So I have two different scenarios. First one is that we have Cody leave Dodge and kind of leave the ring to Solo. And then Solo kind of gets up to kind of dust himself off. And as he's about to leave, that's when we hear Roman's music hit. Roman comes down the ramp, and we have Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa face to face at the end of SummerSlam. Not a word to each other. They don't say anything, just a face to face. Then boom, off the air.
Yes.
Off the air from SummerSlam. Then it's like, oh my God.
Yep.
Roman's back. Oh, he's going face to face with Solo. What's gonna happen next on SmackDown? You gotta have that cliffhanger, you know. I think that's one scenario. I think the other scenario is that Cody wins, retains. Then the bloodline comes and takes advantage of Cody Rhodes, beats him down. You have them beating down Cody Rhodes, and then Roman's music plays, and Roman comes to the rescue of Cody Rhodes. He actually rescues Cody Rhodes, and we can see some sort of face-to-face between Cody and Roman that could end the show. That could lead to, but what is Roman's thoughts? We see he's got face-to-face with Cody, but what's Roman's thoughts on what's going on with Solo Sikoa? So that's my two situations. But for that statement, I think that it's true. We do see Roman Reigns return at SummerSlam. So what do you think? Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam, that's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
I think it's going to be absolutely true. I think there's no better point in the storyline for Roman's inevitable turn to be built in. I think the way I envision the match going in my head, I think Solo is going to, I think he's going to really put Cody to the test. And right before Cody might get pinned, I think Roman is going to cost Solo the win.
Ooh, okay.
That's what I think is going to happen, and I think he's going to intervene on Cody's behalf.
That's
And
interesting.
yeah, that's the only difference in but everything else I agree with you. I think that's when I think Cody will retain, but with the help of Roman. And that's how I think Cody will retain.
Yeah, I definitely if Cody didn't retain and Solo became champion, I'd be absolutely shocked. I
Mm,
mean,
right.
absolutely shocked.
I think
And
it's time for Solo yet. I think
yeah,
the momentum he's on, I think that is what he needs right now. Because I think Cody has come so far in writing the story, and I think he needs to hold on to that belt longer. I think he needs a really good, solid title run. And I think if Solo were to go over on Cody at SummerSlam, I think that would just foil all of the buildup that Cody has really, really, really worked for.
yeah, I agree with that. It's not after the one of the most historic reigns in WWE history for as long as Roman Reigns held that championship. I just think that it would be so flat for Cody to drop that right now. It just would be it would be flat, and I mean people will boo boo all over it. I'd boo boo on it, and I just don't think it's time for Solo. It's just not. There's more stuff to be told with Solo, more stories to be told with Solo that don't involve that championship. So, yeah, that was our SummerSlam edition of That's True, That Might Be True, That's Ridiculous, the Raw deal with Howse and O'Neal. And yeah,
Made
you're
it.
off the hot seat now.
Okay.
But it was fun though. What you think? That was your first time playing that game. What you think about it?
I absolutely loved the challenge, but being in this hot seat, nothing like it. I faced some things in my life, but there's nothing like playing True, This Might Be True, or That's Ridiculous. Oh, that pressure
Yeah.
is insane, but I made it.
Yeah.
I made it.
I see. I didn't even give you any indication on what statements I would have. We just jumped right into it. That's how I wanted it to be.
You can't see it,
So
but I'm sweating. Can't see
I think you did great. You did
it.
great. Handled it well, and it made for a really great episode. I mean, this was another good one here, as we had you here on the second episode here, and that is the Raw deal with Howse and O'Neal, where we talk a little bit of Monday Night Raw, and we're gonna pick back up on NXT, you guys, because I know we have the Great American Bash coming. That's gonna be a 2-week event. We're gonna really dive back into it then. But we really wanted to be SummerSlam heavy for this one with it coming up, and talking about the Great American Bash. I just think it was a great time to kind of be like, we'll reconvene about NXT then, just because I think that's going to be a good 2-week event. I'm super excited about it. But Annie, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the floor right now because it's your time to plug anything that you want to plug, any upcoming appearances, podcast, or anything that you have. Go ahead and take the floor.
Okay. Tomorrow, I'm shooting my podcast with Heather Blue. We will be going over our Fatal 4-Way TLC match at For Us Wrestling to crown the first ever women's champion. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be tables, ladders, chairs. Oh my, you won't want to miss it.
Awesome. So
I
cool.
have my latest episode with Stella Buho dropping tomorrow. I have a clip that just dropped today talking about her what she's thinking as she's going into that TLC match. Don't want to miss it. That was a lot of fun. Next week I will be at MPWA in Saline, Michigan, where I am the voice. And you never know. And you never know what else I have in the works. So yeah, that's what's going on for Annie.
That's awesome. It sounds like, you're keeping yourself real busy between doing your podcast, making appearances at shows, and coming here and doing this podcast with us and being part of the team in your house, which we do appreciate the work that you do. I mean, it's been great so far. And yeah, I just, that's what I like. That's the people I want on my team. People that grind, that have that type of mindset that you have. I'm a big believer in PMA, positive mental attitude. And it seems like you carry that with you. But you work and you grind really hard, and we appreciate that around here. So
Sparks fly, Con, till sparks
yes,
fly.
yes,
How else
most.
play the dark world? Sparks.
Yes, hey, we need that. We need that. We gotta have that. But yeah, we appreciate the work that you're doing. We're gonna bring you back. We're gonna do it again next week as we continue the Raw deal, and then after that, well, we're gonna be bringing you on to a future Sunday episode where we'll be breaking down all the happenings that happen post SummerSlam. So that's gonna be a really fun episode.
I'm so excited for.
That's going to be super fun. But yeah, we appreciate you coming on again, and we'll do this again next week. You guys already know where you guys can find me at. I'm gonna be right here doing my thing here at In Your House, producing the show, hosting the shows, doing everything that we're doing. I mean, guys, you guys have got us charted again, 5 stars coming in, and we appreciate it. I mean, it's just great. Great team, great trajectory here on the podcast. Remember, guys, we have a lot of great shows coming at you guys. Monday, we have the Raw Review Preview Show, Window Lickers. Tuesday, we're rebooting Hype's Smoke Sesh. He just gave you one this past Tuesday. Go ahead and make sure you check that out. Then on Wednesdays, we have the Raw deal with Howse and O'Neal. And this coming Friday, guys, we have our interview that's dropping with ECW legend Bill Alfonso. Voice just did a really good job on that interview. That was great. Then we're going to continue our ECW vibes as we're going to be doing an ECW watch along. What match are we doing? We'll let you guys know on our social media pages what match we're going to be watching along, but I'm excited about it, and I think you guys will be too. Then also on Friday, we have Grun's Room. Grunmeister is going to be doing the SmackDown preview review show, and then Sunday, this coming Sunday, is going to be our SummerSlam Super Show where we give our predictions on each and every match, and it's going to be great. It's just great. As far as what I have going outside of the podcast, I am going to be, we travel a lot here with professional wrestling, but sometimes it's nice to keep it close to home, and I'll be keeping it close to home as I'll be showing up to Wrestle Arts 17. There can be only one. Just a match card right here, guys. I mean, look at that. Some of the best that you're going to see in the Midwest. And I'm going to be there doing backstage correspondence, interviewing the talent. And just look at the names there. I mean, Holly Cromwell, Blair Onyx, Josh Crane's going to be seeing Cassius Starr. You got the Dragons going up against the Carnies. Great history there. Apollo Stars defending against the Dead Ringer, Aaron Williams. I mean, the Midwest was very much heavily represented on this card, and I'm very, very excited to be a part of that show this coming Saturday at the Irving Theater. Make sure you check that out. Doors open at 5. Bell time at 6. So they give you a little bit of an early vibe there so you can enjoy the rest of your evening. And if you're like me, you already know that getting out of that show, where do you go right after that? Well, you go right next door to Smash Burger and go get you a nice burger after a great wrestling show. I know that's what I'm going to do after the show's over. You guys should do the same. It's going to be an absolute vibe. And then the week after that is going to be Bring the Heat, Emerge 80. That's in Columbus, and we got just a couple of different matches here that's going to be featured. We're going to have the Queen of the German Suplex, and that's Ari Alexander going up against a big flexor, Alexis Littlefoot. So you got the Ohio representation there with Ari Alexander and that Kentucky representation with Alexis Littlefoot. That's going to be great. So that's just one of the great matches that you're going to see on that card. But guys, you already know, once again, I'm going to be here, and you can find me at That's Alakon House on all those social media networks, and it's In Your House. And that's HOWSE, and the W stands for work. So guys, we really appreciate you guys sliding through. For Divinely Designed Annie O'Neal, for the voice Josh Joseph, for Hypocrisy Jones, for Grunmeister, and for the world's most dangerous podcaster paragon, I am Alakon, the Concept House. Here to remind you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to hop on this bandwagon. Get on or get gone, because the household is still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Peace.
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
I thought you had on for tomorrow. I might be wrong.
My days are all mixed up.
That's why I tried.
Yeah,
to tell
thank
the
you.
one that